On behalf of Santa Barbara City College and the Office of Student Life, I would like to welcome you here today for this informative presentation on personal safety. Every activity we choose to engage in runs a certain risk. We all have different attitudes towards risk. At one end of the scale is the person who refuses to engage in an activity by exaggerating the risk involved. At the other end is the person who engages in very risky activities while refusing to take any precautions. Neither of these attitudes are useful for living an empowered life. What is useful is to accurately assess the risks involved, take whatever precautions make sense, and live as fully as possible. With that in mind, our four panelists today will each speak about their areas of expertise. I'd like to introduce each of our panelists in the order in which they will speak. Mr. John Defoe, Director of City College Security, will talk about campus safety. Elena Donovan from the Rape Crisis Center will discuss rape prevention tips. Jennifer Baker, Special Program Advisor for City College's Project Hope, will talk about high-risk behaviors. And Officer Jeff Hill will discuss personal safety at home, out in the community, and in the downtown area. We will begin with Mr. Defoe.
Thank you, Ann. As Ann indicated, my name is John Defoe. I'm the Director of Security at the college. I've been here for 7 years now, and prior to that, I spent about 32 years with the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department, so I have a lot of experience in the law enforcement end of things. Before I get into the personal safety, I think it's really important that you understand what we have here. First of all, Santa Barbara City College, a community college, enjoys a variety of roles in the community. It's not only a community college, a source of education, a formal education for people who are trying to get their college education. It also serves as a sort of a park for the community. By nature of its location along the waterfront, it's a very attractive place for people to come and spend some time. And because of the type of ambiance they want to create here at the college, we have a very open campus. And this means that literally anybody who may want to can come and access our campus. And those are things that we do have to deal with regarding safety and security. Campus is about 74 acres. It's divided into two primary sections, the main campus and the west campus, connected by a bridge. We have roughly 17,000 students, both full-time students and evening students. In addition to the campus, the main campus and west campus, we have some satellite facilities. We have two continuing ed centers, the Schott Center located on Bath Street and a Wake Center located on Turnpike Road out near Goleta. In addition to that, they have the cosmetology program out at Magnolia Center in Goleta. So we are fairly spread out. So in addition to the main campus and west campus, security is expected at times to respond to security issues at those locations. What we have at Santa Barbara City, first of all, City College they've recognized for a long time that they have a responsibility with regard to providing a certain level of security. There are a couple of ways that can be done. One of the ways, they could actually have their own police department. Allen Hancock and Cuesta and Ventura Community College all actually have their own police department. They are chartered by the California Standards Post, which is Peace Officer Standards and Training, and they are fully uniformed and armed police officers who have all the authority as defined in the California Penal Code. One of the other ways you could provide security is like they do here. They have actually what's called a security unit. And the security unit is substantially different than a police department in that we do not have nearly the legal authority that a police agency does, particularly with regard to laws of arrest. For example, we have a frequent skateboarding problem on our campus, and sometimes they do damage to the property of the campus. We as security staff, if we wanted to arrest that person, we'd have to make what's commonly referred to as a citizen's arrest. We'd have to contact the police department, ask them to respond, then we'd make the complaint, and they would take charge of the person. If we had our own police department here, we'd simply arrest the person based on whatever particular law they were in violation of, and we would handle it that way. But we really have very little authority to act. We have two basic documents that dictate what we can do. First of all, as a student, we have the standards of student conduct, and as students you should be familiar with that, but essentially that describes all the kinds of behaviors which are unacceptable on campus. And secondly, there are provisions in the California Penal Code and the California Education Code that allow from the dictate or delegated by the president of the college down through to our security staff the authority to act on with regard to security issues. But it is a very different role. What we really have, we have myself as a director, we have 4 permanent staff supplemented by student workers. For example, right now we actually have 27 student workers. This is the spring semester. We have 27 student workers who are averaging about 15 hours a week. They are just students like you folks, and they're just putting themselves through school. So, and we put on a little training program for them, but really it amounts to about a 2-day training program. And they do things like handle the kiosks, conduct parking enforcement, arm and disarm buildings, respond to complaints or reported activity of one kind or another. So there is a significant difference between the types of agencies that can respond. You could also contract. The college could contract with the city for a police agency up here. You as a student, well, first of all, our goal is to make sure that you go through this experience in your life as safe as possible. The primary responsibility, in addition to handling the tasks that I had mentioned before, is to patrol. And we have people as we speak spread across campus. We have, because it's about 2:15 in the afternoon, we have about 6 people on duty at various places in the campus. And among those responsibilities, just to monitor activity and report anything, because they're not, as I mentioned, most of them are students, and even our security staff, we're not armed, and we're civilians, we're not police officers. So really, when we encounter something, our primary duty is to do a quick threat assessment and determine whether or not what kind of risk is present at the moment. And then depending on what it is, then we may either handle it ourselves. We may call the Santa Barbara Police Department. We may call the fire department. We may call for medical assistance. We may call hazmat. There may be some other issue we're dealing with. We do carry radios, and on our radios we do have the ability to speak directly to the police department, so that's a tremendous advantage. And frankly, if there's something really bad was happening at the moment, I could just flip this on, and we would have, if there was a shooting, for example, we'd have 20 police cars here, I'm sure, within about 5 minutes. So they'd be very responsive. On the other side of things, if we're dealing with something like loud music or a skateboarding issue, they have other priorities that may make it so they couldn't get up here for a half an hour or so. So it could be a different kind of response. So essentially, what we have is a security unit. Most of the time, when you see somebody wandering around the campus in a red shirt that said City College Security on it, most of the time they're a student worker. So they are not trained, and frankly, we do not expect that they're going to behave anywhere as close to the level or the standards of a regular police officer. We try to select people, when we interview people, we try to select security staff that are going to fit with the college. We do not want people who are up here that are trying to straighten things out, so to speak. We want people who are have the ability to get along with people and at the same time get things done. We work very closely with the dean who handles student discipline. We write reports. We refer people for discipline. We notice everything from broken lights, if there are lights out, or any other safety issue. We refer those to facilities and operations so they can be fixed and eliminate a safety hazard. We take theft reports. We take traffic accident reports. Now, we do a lot of the things a police agency does, but we do it in a lesser scale. I want to talk momentarily about, I'll conclude with what I think is student and citizen responsibilities. As I mentioned, right now there are 4 or 5, maybe 6 security staff on duty here on campus, and that's just 4 or 5, 6 sets of eyes. There might be, at the moment, 800 or 900 people on campus, and every one of those other people who are on campus has a certain amount of responsibility to also monitor what's going on. And that means if they see something suspicious, if they see something, for example, if if you have solicitors on campus. There's a protocol and a process that solicitors are supposed to follow before they're allowed to go out on campus. So if somebody approaches you and they're asking you to participate in a trip to Mazatlan or sell you a credit card or whatnot, first thing you want to do is challenge them a little bit and ask them. You don't have to challenge them in full strength, but just ask them, have you checked in with student activities? And if they haven't, just give student activities a call or give security a call and say, hey, we've got some people over here on West Campus by the snack bar, trying to sign up credit card folks. That stuff is supposed to be monitored and controlled. That's one thing. Or anything else, whether anything that could be damaging the campus or causing danger to somebody, any kind of suspicious activity. So, anyway, essentially, our security unit here is here to monitor and respond to dangerous situations and facilitate things. So, never hesitate to contact us. We like to think that we're student friendly, but also at the same time, we are charged with the responsibility to try to get people to follow our rules. So, thank you.